as Thom tells it, this one, I'm going to get a lot of coaching out of this guy. I've got a guest, a friend of mine that's a coach. So I want to introduce you and let him say it because he gets his name right.
Aditya Guthey.
Hey, there you go. So you're a coach too?
Yes, I am.
Now, before you were a coach, I understand you went into a speech contest.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
About the speech contest. So I've joined Toastmasters about 6 years ago. It's almost like a natural calling for me. I don't know why I went there.
Now, Toastmasters teaches you how to speak, right?
Yes, it's
Okay.
a great institution. You hardly pay anything to get in, and you have this community of people supporting you to become a speaker. So I started my journey 6 years ago, and until then I was just strictly an engineer, put my head down and do what you're asked to do.
So you never listened to what your grandmother said.
Absolutely.
That's an inside joke.
Yes. You know, even Craig Valentine, a humor speaker, he has this joke about engineers. It is so hard to get engineers to laugh in a room because this is how engineers laugh.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was one of them. But when I started Toastmasters, I started speaking to people. You can actually start talking to people and you're good. After a lot of things happened, I went through coaching, I went through a lot of transformation, and then I was able to win the speech competition at the district level. For the first time, I was speaking to like hundreds of audience.
So you have to win at your club level, right? First.
Yes, there is different levels. You have to win at the club level, and then there's area level, and then you go to division, and then district. The person who wins all the levels becomes the world champion of public speaking, and there's one per year.
And last year, all three, first, second, and third, were women. First time.
Great,
Yeah, it's
great
really
news.
good. So I watched your video, and folks, if you get a chance to watch his video, look him up on YouTube. It's cool. It's a story about his life, how he overcame things, and I guess you found your wife, right?
Yeah, I found my wife at Toastmasters too.
So you still go?
I'm still active in Toastmasters.
Now, they say Toastmasters helps you practice for the professional side, the coaching side. You get positive feedback.
Toastmasters is more around story development, leadership development as well.
And there's clubs everywhere.
And there are like
all over the world.
Thousands of clubs.
Yeah.
Yeah, anywhere you go, there's Toastmasters.
And anybody that
club.
needs speaking or should go.
Absolutely, especially for engineers, we need it.
I'm seeing a lot of educators taking my classes. It floors me that they need PowerPoint or presentation skills.
Yeah,
Don't you do that every day?
right.
But it's great. It's helping out and then
Yeah.
spreading the word.
Yeah,
Now you went to a coaching institute.
yes.
Was that somewhere around here? Is it online? Is it worldwide?
It's in New York City, and it's worldwide too. It's one of the premier coaching institutes across the world. It has been established for the past 20 years, and I've been there. I've been through that program.
So does this take a few months, a couple of years?
It's 1 year. It's a 9-month program.
So you go there?
Yeah.
Oh, like once a week, once a month?
We have trainings. We have webinars every week, and every 3 months we have in-person training where we go there and get trained.
How many
to be
people?
coaches. It's about like 25 to 30 people in
Wow.
each.
All walks of life?
All walks of life. You see from people from all over. It's an incredible program.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now you're a coach.
Yeah.
Do you specialize in some certain group, professionals, amateurs?
I transformed myself into a coach from being an engineer. So I mainly coach engineers and help them transform into leaders of their own lives.
You could be a speaking engineer.
Yeah, I am. Speaking engineer, maybe the speaker for engineers.
Oh, okay. I teach PowerPoint, and it's the same thing. Sadly, it's too dry.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, presentations really today are about stories.
Absolutely.
And people listen to stories. And even the engineers, I go, that graph is nice, but could you have a story that goes along with it that's going to resonate in their heart? And most of the time, it works. They, like you said, they loosen up.
Yes.
And some of them get really funny. Where'd that come from?
Exactly. There's a lot more than the slides and the statistics.
I'm terrible.
Mm-hmm.
How would your coaching how would you start with a person that's timid, not sure that they can speak?
A coach is, we all have inner demons or limiting beliefs. That sounds surprising to you. Oh, any demons, limiting beliefs? I don't have anything. Right? So I had a lot of those, as an engineer, because I thought that's the only thing I can do as an engineer, put my head down and do code, write code. And I always thought, look at my skin color, the way I grew up. And I had a lot of pimples, and you're ugly. You can't even speak proper English, and white people are the ones who can speak English and change the world. That was my truth growing up, right? But when my beautiful wife introduced me to coaching, I realized that everyone goes through the same stuff. We all have highs and lows in life.
You actually listened to your wife?
No, she introduced me to. This is one thing I did listen to my wife. After coaching, I experienced that we're all the same things, and we all go through the emotions in life, and we all have these limiting beliefs. And the coach, what he does is, we go through these weekly sessions, one-on-one. We just talk about you and your life and your purpose and whatever is getting in the way. And the coach is very skillfully brings these inner demons and puts them up, puts a mirror up against you. So you can look at these inner demons and say, all right, I see you now. You're not the truth, because I've been living my life as if this is the truth, that I can't speak. When I can look at those inner demons and see the impact, and all right, inner demon, we don't have to fight with each other. Let's be friends, and let's grow together, and let's be friends. And again, this is just
that's the beginning. You've got to get that in them.
Yeah, absolutely. He doesn't advise you, he doesn't teach you anything. He is, again, trained to skillfully take this out and put the mirror up against you, so you can see what's going on and you take action steps to transform your life.
So this guy wants to do a speech.
Mm-hmm.
Engineer. Mm-hmm. Where do you start with content? You start with delivery? Is there any method that you start with right away from 1, 2, 3 to help the person through it?
Good question. If someone wants to speaking, what as a coach I help with is they have something going on in their heads that they can't speak. And until that is addressed, no matter how many tips you give them, nothing is going to work out. As a coach, I address what's limiting them from inside of them. I have an engineer who hated his job. He loves writing code. He loves developing software, but he hated his job. He had this Sunday night blues. He doesn't know why. He couldn't get along with his manager. When I was coaching him, I figured out is that he had these issues of abandonment because he lost his parents at an early age. That's translating to relationships. He doesn't want to develop any relationships with anyone, and he's just pushing them away. The very thing he enjoyed, which is engineering to build stuff, he started hating it because it has nothing to do with engineering itself, but it has something to do with his relationships and abandonment issues. So once we discovered that, he was able to build that relationship with his manager. He's taking on more work, and he can't wait to get to work.
I'm reading a book by Alan Weiss.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And of all the things he talks about, it's self-worth. Because you people don't think you're worth what you're doing. And I'm going, that's profound.
Yeah.
You can have, like you said, you can have all the techniques and everything and work, but if you walk out there and go, this is going to suck, in a negative attitude,
Exactly.
bam,
Exactly.
it's not going to work.
Right. Absolutely. And it's all about that. And again, the negative attitude seems so real. It seems so real that, oh my God, I can't do anything but just that's reality. And bringing it out and seeing that's not real, man. And it just takes a lot of work. And
I have a hard time with people letting go of the past. Mm-hmm. And that's what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Let it go. Work for today and tomorrow. It can be better. It's real tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
But they have it. That's the part I like about coaching. Is when your student succeeds, it's happier than when you won.
Mm-hmm.
You go, wow,
Exactly.
great, it's great.
Yeah.
And you feel better for them.
So tell me about your approach in coaching.
I see a lot of work that needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
In most cases, they have content,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't have delivery.
Okay.
You can have the best speech in the world, but the delivery is wrong. It's not going to go anywhere.
Absolutely.
And so, there's so many things that you can use to help you. There's a physical gestures when you lean into somebody that shows empathy. You're not even talking. Again, it's back to my old thing, body language, but assisted gestures with the speech and make it a story, you got a winner every time.
I love that.
You got to catch them in the beginning with something, and that's the two things that some people don't seem to understand. Look, you have to hook them in the beginning and a call to action at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And in the middle, you tell them a story that relates to them. I'm having a lot of trouble with people saying I too many times instead of you and them. Translate everything around and give it to them.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about them. You know, the old WIIFN, what's in it for me?
Mm-hmm.
People don't seem to understand that.
Mm.
And for people that don't know Toastmasters or National Speakers Association, you would be surprised the message that can happen in 7 minutes and 30 seconds. Not 90 minutes, 2 hours. You can get 3 or 4 points across. You get a chance to go on TV or YouTube, watch any of the Toastmasters world champions. Those guys are phenomenal. They practice that thing like 300, 400, 500 times. He goes, I know in 7.5 minutes, it's 800 words. We also know that you time out the smile, the pause, and everything's exactly right. I go, and that's professional. That's professional.
They do this for a living.
2 years ago at Toastmasters, we saw the World Championship, #1 and #2. The difference, this guy didn't pause long enough. That's what got him #2. That minute little thing. But people go, that's not important. Oh, yes, it is.
Yeah,
Gestures, body language.
absolutely. Incredibly.
We have a girl that came to our Toastmasters in Cheshire. She stood up there shaking like this. People are petrified. 6 months later, she wants to be the MC every week. Okay, that's cool. That's some growth. Boom. They get relaxed. That's what I like about Toastmasters. It totally gets you relaxed. People come. Don't push them. Some people won't even stand up. Just tell me your name. And we draw them in slowly. That's
Yeah.
coaching in another way.
Absolutely.
And they talk about themselves.
Yeah, and it's great, and it's also the support of the community. When I first started Toastmasters, I'm an immigrant, so I did not have a lot of friends in Stamford. I was new to the town. All my friends are from, I have right now are from Toastmasters, and it is such a supportive community. You can say anything, people will still clap at you,
Yeah.
and you think it is real. Sometimes it's good to believe.
Wallingford has a big Toastmasters
It does.
organization. 25 or 30 every 2 weeks come. And this lady, it's no nonsense. She's German. I love her. No, Thom, you can do better. That was not good enough. And I came from the military. I go, that's what I want. Don't sugarcoat the thing for me. Look, you need to do this, and you need to pause here, and things like that.
There's some people who are straight, who give you the feedback straight, no matter if you're a beginner or an advanced speaker.
And it's good. It's great.
It's great depending on the people. If someone is military, probably it is great.
Yeah. we understand negative reinforcement. Tell me I can't do it. I'm going to prove it to you that I can. And there's tons of ways to speak.
Yeah.
The thing that floored me 2 years ago when I went through the NSA, National Speakers Academy, this guy does eulogy speeches. That's his thing. I'm going, okay, somebody's got to do it, I guess. But
Wow.
they were talking about niches, how you get in different places. I go,
Eulogy
that's
speech.
interesting.
Again, the beautiful thing about the speaking industry is that you carve out your own niche.
Yep.
And again, there is no specific formula for anything. On how to become a successful speaker. You figure it out. It's an art. You find out. Yeah, it's a
And
fun
you know what?
journey.
I know you know this, but people hate this.
Mhm.
They hate to be videotaped. You have to. You've got to see yourself. And I say to people, when you practice at home, do it in front of the mirror, then use the phone for audio and videotape yourself. I don't want to see what I look like. Wait a minute, you're going to see what we see.
Yeah. and this is a show business.
Yes. Some
Right.
people go, no, yes, it is.
It is a show business. You
It is.
gotta show off. So.
Folks, if you get a chance to watch his video, you watch the command he did on the stage, and there's a way to use different parts of the stage to emphasize points and make your story come across. And you performed it well.
Thank you.
I was just watching that
Thank
today.
you.
It's good.
Thank
You're
you.
good at what you're doing.
I appreciate that.
And it is challenging up there. And people go, I'm afraid to talk in front of people. Well, you know what? I say, do you have a passion? Yes, I do. Does everybody you know know you have a passion? No. Well, shame on you. Because when people see me, they go, oh, God, here comes Thom, the speaking coach. That's what you want people to say. You don't want, I don't know who this guy is.
Yeah, I can see your passion come across. I mean, you're open to giving suggestions and
when you got
advice.
passion and there's a need and you can serve the need,
Exactly.
boom, everybody's happy.
It's a great
Everybody's
skill.
happy.
Yeah,
There's a lot to speaking though. There's a lot to performing. You know, I went to a couple of classes on clothing for the body style.
wow, that's
Heavy guys like me
Incredible.
have to wear light shirts. You can't wear the bright stuff and boom. And then your age group too.
uh-huh.
I'm not saying anything, but if you're 19 and you're a woman, you flip your hair, that's funny, but not at 60. Or some of us have pictures for our promotional stuff. If that picture's 20 years old, you've got to update it. What you really look like. Back to what you were talking about before that I love is about self-worth. A friend of ours coached me. Now she was telling me that she had a gig or speech for a National Women's Association. And she was going to charge them $7,500. And they said, you know, we'll consider your offer, but we believe that you're worth more than that. And I go, Lisa, you told me to have faith in myself. She goes, I turned in $12,000 and they took it.
Wow.
That's amazing to me. Like you said, if we've got a passion, something to tell people, it's amazing how much money you can make and how much people will pay you. But just like an engineer, you went to school for that. We did this. You know the background information? That's what people don't seem to understand. I seriously spend 2 hours a day reading or learning about more things on public speaking and communication skills every day. You can ask my wife. This isn't something you just do once and go to a school once. I got everything. And the nice thing about the National Speakers Association, we're getting the instant changes that are happening in the last year or so. Like, this is very strange, but it's apropos. The word ma'am is out. It's insulting now. Okay. Why? Well, it never gave a distinct age, and a lot of women were insulted by the name, depending on the age group. Well, I'm not old enough. So they go, listen,
Interesting.
don't use that word anymore. Okay.
There's a lot of changes happening in
Yeah, and
this
it's-
world, so you
and
gotta
we get it
keep
all the time. Yeah.
updated, otherwise you're gonna offend someone or something.
That PowerPoint thing, I said, look, if you don't want to take any training from me, I want you to watch one guy's video, 2009 Steve Jobs. One picture, one word, that's it. You're the message. That just helps you out.
Yeah.
And you've got to watch your audience. That's very important. I just read a book, I'll refer it to you. This is the first time in history, 4 age groups have worked together. The 70-year-olds are still working over the 25-year-olds. And if you're a presenter or someone trying to get a message across, you need to understand all 4 of those generations. And it's just the fact that they learn differently. The generation before me, they were told what to do and they did it. Yes, sir. We came along in the 60s, it's still here today. Why? And that's what people want to hear. They don't care about how or when. Why do you want me to do this change? This is why. And if you present that, you can later do the how and the then. People go, really? I said, yeah, that's what's important now. And you got to be able to talk to people and develop relationships. Another little thing that I do is your business card. I don't know if you go to a lot of the after dinner things where you hand out business cards. Hey, here's my card. I'm wonderful. This is all about, whoa, whoa, whoa. It's not about you. Hey, here's my business card. What do you do? And you have situations with them. But you also got to get creative. It's a little bit of showmanship. It is.
It is. Right.
The guy goes, what do you do? I said, I help terrified people. And you know what he's going to say. What do you mean by that? You know the subject we all hate, public speaking? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I agree with you there. That's terrible. I said, I take terrible and make it terrific. Really? How do you do that?
Terrible to terrific people.
You know?
Make the people move.
And communications is very important. Even though they say words are only 7%, it's very important. The way you say things, how you interpret it, your tone, and all this stuff. I think you'd agree. We learn all this stuff in Toastmasters.
Absolutely.
For literally pennies.
Yeah.
At no cost, everything's positive there. And if anybody wants to get into public speaking or presenting or getting your point across, trying to sell something, you need to go try out Toastmasters. You go a few times, they don't even push you.
Even just to be happy in your life, man. You know, there are many people I coach. All they were struggling is they want to speak up. that's what they're struggling with, and they think they're not good enough to speak up. And the thing is, just go to Toastmasters, you start learning, you start speaking in front of the crowd, and there's a
And
certain
it's all positive people.
and yeah, absolutely, and
Everybody
there are not everybody, but most of them. but but standing in front of the stage and speaking to people, there's a certain level of connection that is a high level of energy and experience, and it's.
I like looking into their eyes. And
I
can
love
tell,
that too.
You can tell who's listening, who's getting it. But the funny one is, especially in our business, in Toastmasters, you'll see two people in the middle of the crowd, and you go, what are they doing? What are they doing? Guess what those people are doing? They're Toastmasters going, that guy said 5 times. He said which is filler words that we don't want to take.
Right.
And if you say things like that, folks, all you got to do is slow down, pause, say in your brain, and then you won't say it speaking, and you look great. And the pause is so important. One of the techniques of great speakers.
Absolutely. And it's also such a great community. One of the reasons why I was able to shift into a speaker and being able to speak professionally is, there's early in my Toastmasters journey, there is this woman who came up to me and said, Aditya, you look charismatic on the stage. And I'm like, me? Charismatic? So again, I had a lot of limiting beliefs, and having that supportive community, it just gives you a lot of confidence. And for a long time, many people don't believe in themselves, and it's best to believe in someone else who's believing. Just go along with the flow for now. Believe in someone else believing in you, and that's what happened to me.
It really helps.
And many people I've seen many people transform through their Toastmasters.
The other thing I say is,
journey.
If you can't change the people around you, change the people around you. They go, what does that mean? Hanging around with the people going in the same direction that you're going, and you know what? The bad ones could be your relatives, not your friends or mammy. And I had a guy goes, my parents said, why are you doing that? Nobody in our family's ever done that. That's what you're talking about, a self-deprecating or don't believe what they told you.
Yeah. And just and that's a community where you can find those positive people.
And then at the other thing we do, which is National Speakers Association. Oh my God, those people are unbelievable, unbelievable. Somebody could come to those meetings once a month. You get a dinner and you get to talk to a world champion or one of the best speakers in the world for 2 hours for a minimal amount of money. And they talk to you and give you information.
And it's also a community. I was able to meet you through NSA.
Well, you were lucky.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you got to have a little twist on it. Because Wally said to me, he said, in the military, you got this little sarcasm. Mm-hmm. What you talking about? He goes, that's what I'm talking about. He goes, we can tune that a little for you and make it to work to your advantage. I said, wonderful.
Absolutely. And you have a great sense of humor, and that's one of the main components of a speaker, because they're not going to listen to you for like an hour or 45 minutes if you're not throwing some jokes in there.
4 months ago, I don't remember if you were at the meeting, but we came in and we didn't have a speaker.
Yeah, of course I was there.
And I don't know if I did it at that meeting, but one of them, so I went out to the car, I got a piece of cardboard with a rope, and I walked in and said, I'll speak for money. They go, that's funny, that's funny. But it got everybody going. You know who are good? And you'd say, of course they are. But preachers and religious people. You watch those guys speak. They got to give a good message once a week. And they got to be good at it. And like that Joel Osteen, I don't know if you've ever seen him on TV.
No.
There's a whole story about when he was a kid, worse than you. Didn't want to go outside. Didn't want to talk to people. Now the guy talks to 9 million people every Sunday. I'm going, wow. That's a transformation.
That is a transformation.
And he starts out with a joke, which is you're not supposed to, but he softens up the crowd right away.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very much
That's
needed.
one of the techniques.
Yeah, absolutely. People don't want to listen to a boring speech for an hour, for sure.
I try to tell people when you walk, you don't talk. It creates suspense. If you're walking from one side, like when you backed up on the stage, people don't understand. He's talking about the past. That's why he's backing up. And they go, really? That's what that gesture means? Yes. And you can use it to your advantage.
Yeah.
Or you drop your voice. It builds anticipation. People go, how do you know all this stuff? That's what we do. That's what we learn every month. At Toastmasters, at Speakers Associations.
And there are people like you who mentor others and who help out others, and you can get to learn different techniques from them.
But you never stop learning.
You
So
never
many
know.
things.
This is always. I'm sure.
Oh.
Yeah.
Those National Toastmasters and National Speakers Association meetings, wherever they are, it's great. There's so many people there. And then you come back with new friends
Yeah.
every time.
Exactly.
Connected with them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great.
This thing about community,
Hmm.
I'm not sure what you meant by that. Give me a lowdown on the community.
Community. I mean, two things for me. If there is the two things that I have to share with people, it's one, limiting beliefs that keeps them from living a big life. One is limiting beliefs, and the lies that they tell about themselves, and the second thing is the power of community. I told you about Suzanne Kelly, who really, saw my potential. It is people like those, like my wife. That she's a coach, and she helped bring coaching. She would go to fight with anyone who would question how handsome I am. She's great, right? I for a long time I never believed that I can.
You know what's going to happen? I'm going to remember this if I meet her.
Yeah, you can. I bet. But it's having that community of support. Sometimes you need that because it's even though you can overcome those limiting beliefs to a certain extent by yourself, but you need people, positive people like you and Suzanne Kelly and my wife. And there's I'm being coached by a wonderful coach called Bob Russo right now, and he's an executive coach who does trainings at corporates, and he's an incredible guy. He believes, again, all he does is he supports me in the direction I want to go to, and sometimes he tells me, I want to see you, Aditya. Tony Robbins is going to call you in 10 years from now, and he's going to ask you to speak for him. I'm going to see that happen. And again, it's having that support community just, helps you believe that there are possible things. And there are many people who got transformed just because, they are in that community of supportive people, and they pull them to success.
I want to ask you one last thing.
Absolutely.
Will you tell the story briefly about your grandmother and you, and what started this whole thing, either in a positive or negative way?
Absolutely.
I like that story, and I think it's great.
Yeah.
Now, how old were you?
I've been 14 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was I came back from playing cricket, hot summer sun, and my grandmother was like out there looking at me and said, you look so dark, and ugly. Why would you go play in the sun for such a long time? Look at your skin color. You became too dark, and no one is going to look at you anymore. And those were the words I heard, and I continued to hear that, among friends, being bullied. And again, once you have a story like that, everything that you hear reinforces it. It's like this thing, when you want a BMW, you always look for BMW. It's the same thing. You're looking for that every time. So that just destroys the confidence, and again, coaching helped me to get through.
So that stayed with you
until like 2 years ago.
Oh.
And there's still a part of me, that like I talk to it every time.
Get away.
Let's be friends. You can
Honey,
help
talk
me
to my
out.
hand.
Right. Yeah.
That's great. You're in Connecticut.
I am in Connecticut. Yeah.
So the folks could contact you, and you could show them something, teach them things that they need to know.
Absolutely.
They want to get better
Absolutely.
at that.
Yeah. Anyone who's wants to live a powerful life, they wants public speaking.
Get the demons out.
Yes, get the demons out, and go to Thom. He's gonna teach you all the strategies,
And if you're blah and you're an engineer, go to the speaking engineer. Thank you very much for coming tonight. Welcome back to Tom's 2-Minute Tips or Less. Tonight's tip, dress for success. Step number 1, you have to look your best. And what we're talking about today is the clothing that you wear. You want to show command presence. Here's a simple example how to do it. This combination of colors is the strongest you can wear that shows you're in command of the situation. The black shows power. The purple shows royalty and distinction. If you wear these two colors, either man or woman, it shows you're in charge. Tip number 2, Make sure the clothing fits. I see people that put on suits that you can tell they don't wear them every day. You got to get comfortable in your clothing, no matter what you do. And practice walking around with the clothes on. The last tip, number 3. This is mostly for guys, but here we go. I don't know if you know the difference between a cheap suit and a good suit. The distinction is the 2 lapels in the back. If it's cut in the middle, it's a cheap suit. If it's got double lapels, it's a $300 to $500 suit at least. Hopefully these 3 tips help. I'll see you come back on the next tip with more of Thom's tips where your presentations go up, up, and even further.